Harvard-trained Marcus Steele is managing director of Carreras Limited, one of the profitable companies listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. His story is a truly fascinating one of dogged determination of the human spirit. I visited Mr. Steele's office at Twickenham Park in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. I'm with Marcus Steele, the managing director of Carreras Limited. Marcus, glad to meet you.
My pleasure, Howard. Thank you.
How did this journey start? Your journey at Carreras, how did it start?
Thank you very much, Owen. Fairly young. It's interesting, and that has a perspective to it. I started this company in 1998 as a management accountant. I came in profile then, having attained the highest average in the ACC exam. And I went on the Ian Boyne program at the time. And the managing director then saw the program and said, you know what, I would like to have this young man be a part of the team here at Carreras. So I was invited here, and the rest is history. Now, I grew up in this company from being a management accountant, went through all the different positions in finance. So we developed quite a lot of commercial and business skills. And then when we had the merger of British American Tobacco in 1999, and after that I went to Costa Rica to work as the country readiness manager. And at that time we were preparing to put together the cluster of the Caribbean and Central America as one unit. So I was part of the birth of the shared service center there. And I spent about a year and a half there before I went to be the strategic planning manager for the cluster. And that's where I started to get very interested in the commercial side of the business, in the marketing side, understanding the business strategy and so forth. And I was putting that together for the Caribbean and Central America all together, working with some good guys out of Central America as well as the Caribbean. And then I returned to here as finance director at age 32. Again, and in 2007 was one of the, if not the youngest finance director at the time for career. That I consider that a honor.
At what age were you then? How old were you when you became managing director?
I became managing director at age 39. At age 39, so 7 years later, having developed the competencies in finance and the commercial side of marketing and operations, I became the managing director in 2011.
Yeah, typically, companies groom prospective executives in various areas, marketing, accounts, to ensure they have a broad view of the company.
And here at Carreras and British American Tobacco, I must say that we take pride in developing our managers. I was prepared for the role, Owen, because I also went to Harvard Business School and I did the general management program there in preparation for this job. And then I went to be the country manager for the smaller islands of BAT, based out of Trinidad. So I had that experience and development prior to me becoming the managing director of this great company.
No. Steele's ascendancy to the top post at a blue chip company was not attained overnight. Marcus Steele's Spartan existence or truly tough years as a child no doubt helped to build the can-do aspect of his character.
I'm from a family, a very large family, Owen, of 25 brothers and sisters. I'm the 23rd, born in Payne Avenue. And, we had to leave and, run away in 1980 to a piece of captured land in Grange Lane near Gregor Park. So what I lived in poverty, abstract poverty, and I saw my mother struggled. My father was there, but technically wasn't there. So she was both my mother and father. And what motivated me really was to ensure that I changed the future for me and my kids, the next generation of Steeles. Because we had a rough time. And I saw my mother, who struggled, try to make ends meet. And I wanted to make a better life for her as well. So all of that, and I said the only way I can do that, is through education. Don't ask me how I knew that and understood that very well in my early days, but I did. And having left from Grangeland to run away, and I attended the Gregor Park All-Age School. At that time, the principal didn't even want to take me in the school because he said nothing good comes from Grangeland. And I wanted to prove him incorrect as well. I like to prove people wrong, especially when they make strong statements like that. And again, I had the same challenges at Gregor Park All-Age School. For example, they placed me in the Dunces class. Why? Because, you're from Grangeland, so why would you want to go in a bright class? And that teacher, her name is Mrs. McIntosh. She said, you know what? You have the ability to take the common entrance. And the common entrance teacher said, no way. She didn't want me in her class because she wanted to ensure that her pass rate is not negatively impacted by having me. And this teacher did a wonderful thing. She turned the desk around and she said, you know what, write everything off that board because I'm going to teach you. And she registered me. And I sat the common entrance and I went, I got a scholarship into St. Jago High School. And that was where, I had the struggles of paying school fees, buying books and so forth. But you know what? I wanted to succeed so badly that I decided to look for bottles and sell. There's a cartoon up there that says that, with the various challenges in my current role, and if I don't overcome them, I go back and pick up bottles. And I want to say that will not happen, will never happen, because I have already changing and chanting a different course for the future of me and my children and family. Great. Thank you very much, Owen.
Fascinating beginning. Later, Harvard University helped to further hone that inner fire, that desire to succeed against the odds, and develop leadership skills, and bring to the fore an innate emotional intelligence.
The Harvard program, primarily, what it does, it is geared towards developing leaders, to operate at very significant high levels of any organization, whether it be private or public sector. What I took from there is not the functional competences, it's not the marketing, the operations, it's the leadership competencies. How do you drive an organization to get the best out of its people? And having said that, I had a professor by the name of Bill George, and he wrote a book called Discover Your True North, Your Authentic Leadership. I have used that book in many ways, and that helped to define who I am as a leader. It's a value-based leadership based on experiences. So what it says is that your past experiences determine how you lead as a leader within an organization. And I take that very personally, and that is how I lead here at Careers, both in my professional life as well as in my personal life. So you will find that I talk a lot about authenticity, leadership, and I really believe that Bill George was spot on when he said that your experiences determine your values, and your values determine how you lead. Yes, and that is very important.
Next week, in part 2 of our Achievers feature on this fascinating young business executive, Marcus Steele, we examine his business strategies, emotional intelligence, and how Steele's approach to the team concept helped to turn around Careers' fortunes, even amidst burgeoning illicit cigarette imports, to the point where one business magazine named him Jamaica's top manager and third in the Caribbean. That's the Achievers for this week. I'm Owen James.